ground, a new tornadic circulation could attempt to develop. I'm not saying it's going to happen this instant, but it could happen soon. So we're going to have to watch not just circulation 1, but circulation 2. And I think circulation 1 is no more. That storm track we gave you a minute ago might not be perfect. Well, none of them are perfect, but it might not be great. Let's go back to that for a second. I want to amend our position on this, because I think our position is going to be getting close. This is going to be a really close call for Columbus. You need to be in your safe place. I would put this, because it's taken this quick northerly jog, and that's what happens as it sucks it in. This is trying to get it close to Columbus. You have to be in your safe place. It also will mean it's picked up some speed some. Let's give it into Columbus from this track. This track's down to 11 minutes. I think that seems a lot more reasonable than what we were looking at a moment ago, and that might be just a little fast. And this tornado might not survive long enough to make it to Columbus. But at this instant, it's tracking almost northeast along US 45. And I beg you, do not go outside and try to take a picture of this. Stay in your safe place on the lowest floor if you live in Columbus proper, or if you live out in Columbus in Lowndes County. Give some folks some heads up. I know probably have some windows rattling. People wonder what's going on in Starkville. Kids, of course. Parents want to know what's going on. At this instant, I do not have a tornado warning for you. Let's come back to that in a second. Now we have, finally, as we anticipated, official confirmation from the National Weather Service in Jackson. Tornado observed. Confirmed tornado was located near Bent Oak. Okay, so near the Bent Oak community, this is a tornado on the ground in Lowndes County heading toward Columbus proper. Your moments are ticking away, 10 minutes or less. You need to be in your safe place right now. New Hope, same thing. Can't emphasize it any more than that. Let's go ahead and check in with our Emily Leonard and Sonia Walls.
All right, Matt, thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Current time just past 6 o'clock. We are monitoring this situation. Matt and the Weather Authority monitoring the tornado situation. We're trying to bring you the latest damage reports and any kind of reports that we are getting into our newsroom. Right now, we want to go to Bill Long. He is over the Tom Bigby Power Association to give us an update on our power situation. Bill, are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, kind of what's the latest right now?
Okay, presently we have two of our power substations out. The most damage that we've had in our area that we know about right now is in the Barnes Crossing area and the Saltillo area. Those areas are fed from two of our substations, and the high voltage transmission lines that serve both of those substations has been damaged by the tornado. And we know there has been damage to at least 6 structures. Their TVA has crews headed to this area from other locations to actually rebuild those structures.
Yeah, he has.
It's in a very hard to get to place. They're very tall structures, 120 feet tall. It takes some very tall equipment to work on the line and rebuild the structures. So we hope to be able to give the public better information about 12 hours or so from now as to when the repair time will be complete and power restored. But at this time, we're unable to give a good estimate other than it's going to be multiple hours before folks served in the Barnes Crossing area, part of East Tupelo, the Beach Springs area, Oak Hill area, and parts of Fellowship community. Also affected is the town of Saltillo, Birmingham Ridge, Natchez Trace Villas, and other areas in that vicinity. We have approximately 15,000 people out of electric service at this time.
Okay, Bill, thank you very much for that. We'll want to check back with you later on this evening to just get another update on the power situation. Right now, though, we need to go back over to the Weather Authority for another update.
Okay, now we have confirmation from storm spotters of a large and very dangerous tornado on the ground, Lowndes County. Those are the words of the spotter. And the location was Bent Oak, right there where we were looking as that tornado's wrapping back up. That report coming in just a couple of minutes ago, actually 2 minutes ago, right along 45. This is moving in the direction of Columbus proper. And I highly, 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 highly encourage you to be in your tornado safe place if you live in Columbus, because this is a storm that has a great potential to do damaging things if you don't take it seriously. So we got to be very careful. By the way, so the newsroom knows also there's some reports coming in from Union County of possible tornado damages to houses and barns and things. So just so you're aware of that. Let's go, and I'm going to switch this to the really, really, really ugly version of Storm Track Doppler radar. It's going to take me a bit of finagling to get back to that. And there we go. Okay, so let's talk about this storm, which is pretty much right on the doorstep. As we worried, the tornado continues to head north. This is going to track into Columbus unless it weakens. Within the next couple of minutes, maybe only 2 or 3 minutes, this will move into and through Columbus unless it weakens. Do I think it's going to weaken? I'm not really convinced, okay? So we need to be in our tornado safe place if we live in Columbus. I'm going to switch it to where you can see that so we can talk about that once again. Your tornado safe place, lowest floor of whatever house you're in now. It is too late to go someplace else if you live in Columbus. You make do where you're at. Find a sturdy structure. Go to the lowest floor. Find in a room in the middle of that lowest floor and turn up the volume on the TV. We're going to let you know when we can give you the all clear, and it's not now. Columbus, this is on your doorstep. Wrap yourself, blankets, pillows, remember, helmets. It's not silly. It'll protect your head. It's designed to do that if you fall off a bike. It will definitely do it if falling debris occurs. Debris is the way a tornado hurts you. So if you go outside, you make yourself susceptible to it. If you stay inside, and if you don't have a storm shelter, and you go, where do I go? A hallway, an interior closet, or interior bathroom. If your bathroom has a window, bathroom's not a good place. You need a place that has no windows with as many walls between you and the outside as possible. That way, hopefully, it stops the flying debris. Let's go back to the Doppler radar. And just so the newsroom people know, there is a tornado debris. I'm going to say this for the meteorologist. Newsroom knows we're not going to break from this storm now in this coverage until we're done with Columbus on this, okay? Tornado debris signature detected at 10,000 feet on this thunderstorms. That means tornado debris is being lofted up to 10,000 feet away. That's a sign that the strength of this tornado is not EF0. Is it EF2, EF3? That's a possibility at this instant, but that debris that high means we have had tornado damage out of this particular thunderstorm as it tracks toward Columbus proper. So it is moving into the west side of town as we speak. This is every bit as dangerous, damaging, and potentially deadly a situation as we ran into in Louisville earlier and Tupelo much earlier this afternoon. So we have got, I implore you to go to a safe place. So much so that you'll notice the Weather Service out of Birmingham has already put out a tornado warning for this. That warning for Lamar County is because of this thunderstorm. It's just trying to make sure that those people have as much time to get to a safe place. If you're in Millport, you're in Vernon, you might have 10 minutes to get to a safe place. And the only reason I tell you that, I mean to get out of your house if you live in a mobile home and drive to somebody's house you know that has a sturdy home or a storm shelter. That is not the case in Columbus. You're done. You're where you're at. Make the best of what you can. Because if you get out in your car, more people die in mobile homes and in cars than any other way. You're in a sturdy structure, you're in a normal house with a solid foundation, you're fine. Maybe not fine, but you're going to be okay. But if you live out in Lamar County, you have a few moments. This is a tornado believed to be on the ground with considerable reports of damage. Tornado crossed 45 with damages to structures and trees debarked. That was 6 miles west-southwest of Columbus. That was 4 minutes ago. This is a damaging and could be deadly situation. We have storm track Doppler back. Whew. Okay. Give me a moment. Okay, so let's track this into Columbus. We'll get the times that it shows up. It says 9 minutes. It's not 9 minutes. That's 9 minutes downtown. So you have very little time if you live in Columbus proper, if you live inside the city. We're going to go street level on this. There are multiple circulations on this thunderstorm, but there's only one I believe to be a tornado, and that's the one just east of the Bento community at this instant. And by the way, just remember this. Are you kidding me? To give you an idea of the strength of these tornadoes, there's a report from one of the meteorology professors down at Mississippi State that a door from Louisville landed on the MSU campus. That tells you how strong these tornadoes are. And if that doesn't tell you why I'm practically yelling at you nonstop to go to your tornado shelter, there's nothing I can say that will. WX Prof is the name of the professor on Twitter. You can probably find it there. Mike Brown, yeah. This says 10 minutes. I don't think 10 minutes. I think it's a little less than 10 minutes. Let's talk about exactly where it's at now. And I'll do the best I can to go up a couple scans on Storm Track Doppler radar. It might drop out on me, but I feel very blessed that it decided this was the moment to give us a scan. I would have it very near Old Macon Road. You could see the city grid of Columbus there. We're right on the south edge of that. And we feel for our colleagues down south at WCBI TV. We know they're going through what we went through earlier on today, and our thoughts and prayers are with them as they go through this moment. Let's go ahead and widen this out. Tornado warning continues for most of Lowndes County. I unfortunately can't show you a loop. We just don't have it. But I can tell you that the motion on this tornado has been more directly to the east. I'm going to see if I can get the loop. We're going to go gritty storm track Doppler radar for that. I'm going to check the time of the latest scan, make sure 6:08, 6:12, we're good. Oh, man, this could move, and let's get rid of this for a second. Now that I feel like I have the latest scan for sure, and I had it there as well. This is going to track through the east and southeast part of Columbus.
There's some right there on the chair.
Last report confirmed large and damaging tornado on the ground in Lowndes County. We're going to break from this for just a second. I'm going to go south on this, make sure. We previously had a tornado warning out for this. I believe that we had a tornado warning out for this. I need to confirm that. Give me just a second here. 6:12 p.m. Yes. Okay, 6:12 p.m. we have a tornado warning, even though it's not showing up on Storm Track Doppler radar, south of Kosciuszko. This is going to track toward Noxapater. And I am sorry if you live in Winston County. This has been one of those days. I'm going to track this for you, and we got to get back to Columbus proper. Speed on this, I'm just going to overestimate. We're going to come back and refine this because we have a tornado probably moving through Columbus as we speak. And there you go. 9 minutes Patterson, Plattsburgh. We're thinking about a half hour. A little more than that maybe in Louisville. I'm going a little faster. It might be a little longer than that. Let's go to Columbus proper. This is likely a strong, significant tornado moving through the south side of Columbus. Let's go to Icky Storm Track Doppler. As you can hear, a lot of thunderclaps outside of our station here. I'm sure that's got everybody who's just experienced a tornado today on edge. Oh, blessings. This might have just, oh, this is so close for Columbus proper. It's taken a right turn toward New Hope. That's a secondary circulation there. You have the primary circulation up here toward Columbus, and what looks like it could have been a secondary circulation near New Hope there. Let's go to the wind mode on Storm Track Doppler radar. This is going to take it a second to update, apparently. Come on. Come on here. It's 5:48. I need a better one. Come on. There we go. Okay. Do we have another? We have okay, there we are. I see what we have. We probably have now east of Columbus and southwest of Columbus. We might have 2 circulations at this instant that we're still tracking, and this is a mess. This is a very powerful storm, and sometimes powerful storms produce multiple tornadoes at the same time, and I think that's a possibility with this. I'm going to check, make sure I don't have a new scan on standard storm track Doppler radar before we try to just go back and forth and all over the place like this. I have reports out of Artesia in Lowndes County of Springfield Missionary Baptist Church on 45 destroyed, power lines down. That is the significance that this tornado has produced to this point. Okay, we're gonna go back to the gritty version. Let's talk about Starkville for a moment here. I know we have a lot of kids that are wondering what's going on. We have a lot of kids, a lot of folks that are probably still sheltering. The Starkville situation is better than what you have going on in Lowndes County. This could still be some very strong wind speeds out of this entire line toward Crawford, but this is still a significant tornado situation. We got to come back to Columbus, and I don't usually like to sit on thunderstorms and do nothing but repeat myself, but I'm going to do it on this one because there's potential for multiple. Yeah, there's that other rotation. That might be the stronger rotation. You could have 2 hits out of 1 thunderstorm here in Lowndes County. This, the mature rotation. Oh, that's not a good sign. I hate to do this again, to redo the hashtag, but off the network if we can. Because I'm starting to have trouble getting even these images in. Right there and right there. 2 tornadoes at this instant. This, the mature one that's caused lots of damage, and this one developing and possibly could be just as strong. This is a damaging situation. Let's do tornado safety rules. I want to remind you, Lowndes County, you got to stay there. I mean, could be a second round in Columbus on the same thunderstorm. That's what happens. One of these sucks into circulation, and it spins out another one. We call that a cyclical supercell. Find a sturdy structure, lowest floor, middle of the lowest floor. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Turn up the volume on your TV. We will give you all clears when that time is pertinent. Wrap up a blankets, pillows, and stay there until we can give you the all clear. That's not now. Well, it is now for some of us. Let's do briefly, a couple of all clears. And let's go, I mean, Starkville, you're probably in pretty good shape. I just worry about some of these storms back to the south and west a little bit. But I mean, Starkville proper, you're probably in pretty good shape. West Point, it's hail, it's wind, it's everything that's scary about a thunderstorm, fortunately, except for the tornado. Fortunately, it's not a tornado. That's what I'm trying to say. We still show some rotation on that, but not a lot. And farther north, it's just flash flood warnings on what have been trailing strong storms. I'm going to come north to Tupelo. I know if you have power and you're one of the lucky ones, oh man, unfortunately that's going to pop back up. You're probably wondering about the lightning and thunder associated with this. When we look at the wind mode on Storm Track Doppler radar to do our due diligence, nothing that looks like a tornado. That is a completely different scenario than what's going on in Columbus right now. Columbus, I have multiple tornadoes surrounding the city. One along 82 East, one just south, probably just south of the city at this instant. This radar image is a couple of minutes old. Dates from 6/13. We should be getting a new image in momentarily. But I have 2 tornadoes right now. So this one's probably south. This one is probably wrapped up and is heading eastern Lowndes County. Let's do our best to track both of those tornadic circulations. Okay, it's going to take me a minute, I apologize. The radar data is not valid at this instant. Let's pull it off. So tornado 1, heading north toward the Steens community, might almost be there. This says 4 minutes. I don't like that. Let's go closer, because I think it's closer than that. Tornado number 1, Steens community, 2 minutes. Tornado 2, south of town. Obviously, Columbus doesn't pop up. It doesn't show any locations, but that's still Columbus. Okay. Information coming in from 7 miles southwest of Columbus. That would be this thunderstorm of 10 to 12-inch diameter, trees down, power lines down during the possible tornado track. Also for Columbus, 6 southwest of Columbus, trees down, power line down, and the debris from some trees indicating the path could have been as wide as 1/4 mile. New radar image coming in on our gritty version of Storm Track Doppler radar. And now I've gone from 2 tornadoes back to 1. There's no guarantee I ever had 2 tornadoes for sure, but that southern circulation looks less intense. It looks borderline non-existent, but I would put it near New Hope community. Secondary, strong, likely damaging tornado is approaching the Alabama state line. There's some folks up here in northern Lowndes County that are probably not under a tornado, they're not under a tornado warning, that need to be in a tornado safe place. East of Columbus, you've got to be there. Steens community, we mentioned you a moment ago. There's not a ton of locations out there, but we want to make sure you're in the safe place. Millport, Alabama, you can see it behind me there. If I can get my orientation right here. Millport, Alabama, this is a maybe. I think the tornado stays a little bit north of you, but not by a lot, and if you consider yourself a resident, you need to be safe nonetheless. Let's look at the rotation back towards Starkville. Nothing that looks like it's imminently a tornado. So for some of the folks there that have been probably hiding out in your safe place for most of the afternoon, at this instant you're good. That doesn't mean there's not more ahead. I'm not convinced there will be. In fact, I probably don't really think that you're going to have another tornado warning, but we'll watch it closely for you, for all those parents that are also interested. Let's come back south to our Noxapater storm. I'm going to do something dangerous, and I'm going to try changing my radar site to Jackson, which you can see with those red boxes there. They're having a rough time of it down that direction, too. This is not the same tornado or same kind of tornado that moved through Louisville a little earlier on. Do you need me, or what's? Go ahead and get my IFB and tell me what you're thinking. Gotcha. Okay. Tornado warning continues. This would be southern Noxubee County. If I can get it to pop on the screen there. There we go. 36 minutes just to get the latest information on that. I'm sorry. That would be Winston County, not Noxubee County. I'm extremely sorry for that. Located near Zama. Second time I've read that name today, and I never knew it existed. $half size hail. Radar indicated rotation on this thunderstorm. So that is heading in the direction, once again, of Noxapater. There's a rotation. You can see Noxapater on your screen. There aren't a whole lot of cities pop on. I can't get a single one when I zoom in. But this is rotation. There could be a tornado moving toward Noxapater. At this instant, we cannot confirm there's a tornado on the ground. I'm going to come up to our storm, and you can see the well-defined rotation. We're looking really high up on the thunderstorm here. But this is very well-defined rotation that is likely still a damaging tornado on the ground. Weather Service Jackson has issued a small warning to encompass that, and then this exits into Lamar County, Alabama. Let's go and switch this back to the radar site out of Columbus Air Force Base. Really, it's located in Monroe County, but it's operated by Columbus Air Force Base. And let's get the motion on this, make sure we're good. Columbus proper. If you live within the city limits, or certainly if you live on the west side of town, you're good. You can come out of your safe place, but if you live east of town, give me 5 minutes, please. This storm still likely tornado on the ground. Using that location, let's get a new storm track briefly here, and then we're going to get some more information from the newsroom. Let's go ahead, and if this will pop on over for me. So I would put my rotation pretty much on top of Steens heading in a northeasterly direction. Let's pull the radar off. I want to get this right. Yeah, right on top of Steens. Heading this direction, eventually toward Vernon, Alabama. Now this assumes 30 miles per hour still. I don't know that I can verify that speed. I want to verify that speed before we toss over to the newsroom. New tornado debris signature on this rotation here. They've sped up to 35 miles per hour. I'm tracking at 50. Let's go 40. Let's meet kind of in the middle there. So I'd say in the Steens community now, moving toward Vernon and Kingville. As you can see there, it says 26 minutes into Vernon. This is a tornado that I hope you'll assume with me is on the ground crossing the Alabama state line. I give you the track, and then a second later we get a new update. Tornado on the ground crossing the Alabama state line. There's no cities shown up here, which means it's not good for anybody unless I can give you some cities. But crossing the Alabama state line, heading toward Vernon. If you live, and I know it's fairly rural, Lamar County, tornado safe place. It's the first time we've mentioned you today. That's lowest floor of your home, center or whatever building you're in. We talked about you had a little time earlier. Your time has elapsed. Now you do the best with wherever you're at. Sturdy structure, lowest floor, middle of that structure with as many walls between you and the outside as possible. A windowless room is always preferred. Turn up the volume on your TV. We'll give you the all clear. Wrap up in blankets, pillows, and stay there until we can give you the all clear. And that is not right now. Let's go over to the newsroom, who's continuing to track the tornado damage situation from multiple significant tornado touchdowns across North Mississippi. Emily?
Matt, thank you very much. Joining me via telephone live right now is Greg Flynn. He is with the Mississippi Emergency Management Association. Mr. Flynn, are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you give us kind of an update on what you've got?
Well, currently we're still working in Tupelo to make sure that search and rescue is ongoing, that people are located. We're sending additional state resources up there as we can, depending upon the weather. We've got some that are coming in from northwest Mississippi in to assist, and we're prepared to be moving more assets up from central Mississippi to help out with what's happening in Lee County. Also in Winston County, we've got reports of numerous homes that have been damaged. The medical center in Winston County has been damaged by a tornado, and right now they're working. Our Department of Health is working to make sure those patients are taken care of. They're also doing assessment of that hospital. But right now we've got several tornado warnings that are also now moving through central Mississippi, Madison, Hines, Rankin County, right here over the State Emergency Operations Center as we speak here in Pearl.
Okay, Mr. Flynn, what kind of damage reports have you received?
Well, that's what I said. The two heaviest damage reports we've had so far from Winston and Lee County, certainly in Tupelo with numerous amount of homes. I can't even put a number on it yet that have been damaged. Winston County, the same amount. It's hard for them to get out to do a lot of damage assessments just because we've been under the gun with these storms that just keep repeating over and over again.
And have you received any injury reports of any kind?
We received reports of multiple injuries in Winston County, mostly in the Louisville area. Also up there in Tupelo, numerous injuries from the tornado that went through. I don't have a extent of those injuries, how they're being classified, but we do know that we've had mass casualties in Winston and in Lee County, and some sporadic ones in these other counties that have been struck thus far.
Okay. Is there any message you need to get out to the folks in Lee County and Winston County right now?
Oh, certainly. Don't let your guard down. I mean, this weather is just not letting up. There's just storm after storm is coming through. It won't be until late this evening until we can hopefully move some of this severe weather out. They're telling us to expect it up until midnight, perhaps. So please continue to monitor the weather as closely as you can. Take any warning seriously and seek shelter.
Okay. That's Greg Flynn with MEMA, the Mississippi Emergency Management Association. Greg, thank you so much for joining us. We will check back with you later on tonight. Right now, WTVA's Chris Tatum. No? Okay, let's go back over to Matt then.
Hey, I think we have a second circulation that could be developing southern Lowndes County. It might not be as significant as the long track tornado touchdown, but that I'm just looking at radar data here a second, and I haven't put any analysis into this, so give me a second, but we're looking just east of Crawford there, and then looking at just at the rain mode. I want to look at the wind mode before we go do some more damage stuff here, just to make sure that we don't have something else. At the very least, that is strong straight line winds in excess of 65 to nearly 70 miles per hour east of Crawford, moving through southern Lowndes County. So at this instant, we're still in that generation phase. It's not a tornado. There's no tornado warning that has been issued for that circulation, but it is something we'll have to watch. Sometimes these happen very, very fast. And an update on our tornado warning, warned thunderstorm. You can see that popping up next to me as we speak. The circulation now crossing into Lamar County, Alabama. The location, I want to correlate it for you back to where exactly we're looking, so that we can do a storm track, and there could be multiple circulations on this thunderstorm. There could be tornadoes on the ground. There's at least one, maybe two. We're now going to be approaching Kingsville and Millport and Higathi. It only popped on the map for a second, so I didn't get it perfect. And Kayla, the answer is yes. Okay, so I want to get this right. I'm sorry this is taking me a minute here. It's just, it's a very cluttered circulation. So we're talking 10 minutes into Heidelberg and 15 minutes into Vernon. Your moments are ticking away. We need to continue to assume that this is a tornado capable of producing damage. We have had that damage return show up on Storm Track Doppler radar very recently. So we need to assume that damage could still be occurring because of that tornadic circulation. Just verifying that we don't have anything outside of that we need to be paying attention to. And then we're going to kick it over for more news and damage information. And we are at the process of this event, the time in this event, where we will start transitioning about 50-50 damage and tornado information, damage, and weather information to more of a damage situation, because we've had significant damage and we have news gathering now getting more information back in. But we have these two tornado warnings that we're watching, in particular southern Noxubee County, and the strong tornado that's now exited Lowndes County and moved into Lamar County, Alabama. Still southern Lowndes County, I'd be in my safe place. Columbus proper, though this circulation is not heading toward you, that doesn't mean it won't wrap up in the next scan. We'll be watching it, and we'll be back on here in just a second if that becomes necessary. Let's give some more news information from our Miss Emily Leonard. Emily?
Okay, thank you very much, Matt. As Matt and his crew continue to analyze this weather situation, this ever-changing weather situation, we're going to take a live shot now with our Chris Tatum. I believe he is live on Gloucester. Chris?
This tornado definitely took a toll on Tupelo today, and for as much damage as I have seen being out looking west Tupelo earlier and now here along Gloucester Street, I don't even believe we've begun to see the full extent of just how much damage this tornado has done. Let me just start right here with a popular Tupelo eatery. This is, of course, Vanelli's on North Gloucester. You can see considerable damage there to Vanelli's. A little bit further over here, the Baymont Inn, I'm not sure how much damage we can't see. From here, it looks like maybe some superficial damage just to the roof. But look a little bit further over here, hotel over here, and Outback. Considerable damage to those businesses. And then I want to lead you across Gloucester to the other side, and look at that. Looks like the entire upper floors of those hotels, especially the one a little bit further up, are missing. And there are businesses a little bit further up Gloucester beyond those two hotels right there. I can't exactly identify what those businesses are, but based on the debris pattern, how it's all blown out into the street onto Gloucester, it's pretty obvious some serious damage done to those businesses. We also, in the distance in front of me, and we haven't been able to get over there to it, authorities have the roads blocked, but I can see what looks like just a pile of damage of what used to be a building that we can't even see right now. So again, unbelievable damage. There's no question about it. The landscape along Tupelo here, the things that have made Tupelo popular, the things we're also used to seeing, have dramatically changed by this one tornado. Reporting live from South Gloucester Street, Chris Tatum, WTVA News.
Just some incredible images. Chris, thank you very much. Be careful out there. We have several crews all across the Tupelo area right now, gathering as much information as we can and trying to get back into the newsroom. Right now, we go back over to our chief meteorologist, Matt Lopon, for another update on this current and ever-changing weather situation. Matt?
One of our, you might know it on WLOV, our Face of Fox, Lauren Ann McLaughlin, is sending in some pictures. She was the one sending some of the damage a little earlier along Gloucester, as you can see. What looks to be significant. I'm going to see if we can see some telltale signs of what type of damage. I mean, you see in the far background there, roofs taken off of buildings. I mean, obviously, you expect some damage to something that has an awning like this gas station there has. One of the big reasons this curfew is in place isn't because they're trying to stop you from going out and helping people. It's because of what you see right here. Do you see these power lines that are down there? Those power lines, I mean, you don't know for sure if they're hot or not. And the last thing we want to do is compound a bad situation by having people get electrocuted by these power lines when they try to turn them back on. So just please, oh please, I beg of you to stay in if at all possible. You can see half of this building blown off. I mean, just completely ripped open there. There's going to be a lot of folks asking the question, how strong is this damage? The National Weather Service from Memphis is coming down to do a damage survey as we speak. And so they will be the ones that determine how strong this tornado was, move through Tupelo. Jackson will be making that decision on Columbus, as well as Louisville's tornadoes. And there are many other tornado touchdowns we're going to have to pay attention to today. I mean, obviously, power lines just down every place. I mean, it's pretty significant, and that's as many as I'm going to go with on that one. We also had, I apologize, you're just going to watch me go through some stuff here. Went right over my house. Large tree laying across, and this is from one of our directors. His name is Danny. And, I mean, as you'll notice, this is his neighborhood. That's what's left of it. There's not a lot. So this has been a significant tornado, and it's one we're going to have to continue to treat very, very seriously. Okay, we need to get back to some radar information because of some of the information coming into the Weather Authority at this moment. I apologize, you get to see a lot of my home screen there today. This Lowndes County deputies now reporting a second funnel in the air behind the tornado that was on the ground. Deputies were taking shelter, and all Columbus PD units were sheltering in place. Now, that was as of just a couple of minutes ago. But I think what that was, with that report might be a little delayed into the Weather Service. I believe that report was, hey, and Emily, if you get the chance, would you text some of our good friends and tell them, don't message me? I appreciate it. Thank you. They're trying to mean well, and I appreciate that, but I don't think everyone needs to see my text messages popping up there in the background. That was when you had the two storms back toward Columbus, the two areas of rotation back toward Columbus. Now it looks to be a primary rotation that's moving through Lamar County, Alabama. When we go to the wind mode on Storm Track Doppler radar, and John, if you would do the same, John Ball, if you do the same for me and you text Danny and say thank you for the photo, but his texts are showing up on the air, I'd appreciate it. This is still a strong circulation. Possibility of multiple rotations on this that could be tornadoes. Two, in particular, I'm looking at here and here. So, as you noticed earlier, they had changes in direction. Now it seems to still be like it could be a couple of circulations, but one primary circulation is going to be a very close call for Millport. I think it might go just a little north, but we could have potentially two areas of circulation there. Okay, so let's go over to a storm track for this. And we'll have to go over the GWX for that. Whoa. Hold on. Is that new data? That's new data. There we go. Okay. So that'll give me a better chance. I want to look at this circulation here. Let's track the north circulation first. Let's go to the wind mode and Storm Track Doppler radar. And it always has a difficult time shooting this direction. There's some obstructions that mess with the radar. I would track that at 30 miles per hour, and I'm taking it right to Vernon. It might go a little south. This still says 15 minutes. I don't know that I wait that long. I don't know that I believe that, but we'll say 15 minutes. But certainly I'd be prepared a little less, and in case this decides to turn, because this one has had weird motions as it cycles, I would put that into, as you can see, Millport within 6 minutes and Fernbank now. A reminder what we're looking at with this thunderstorm. We've had reports of funnel clouds on it. Today, good enough for me. We're going to count that as tornado spotted. Doppler radar also texts rotation that could lead to the development of a tornado soon. A reminder of where to go for Lamar County, Alabama. We need to do a sturdy structure on the lowest floor in the middle. Turn up the volume on the TV. We'll give you updates as we can. Wrap up with blankets and pillows and stay there until we can get you the all clear. And for our news folks, we need to do the best we can to try to, I know you're working on Columbus, and I'm sure that there's some issues to get through there. But if we can get someone on the phone down there, they had potentially 2 tornadic circulations to track through their area. So I just want to make sure we're good on that. So let's go back to Storm Track Doppler radar. Let's go southern Lowndes County. And let's look at the wind mode on Storm Track Doppler radar. There's some circulation there. At this instant, you're not under a tornado warning. But if I lived in Forreston, I wouldn't wait for the warning because this could still be 65, 70 mile per hour winds. And if you're in a mobile home, and your mobile home is oriented north-south, that could flip it. So we want you in your safe place there as well. And Dave, what am I looking at here, just so I know for a moment? Dave, what am I looking at?
First Christian Church that he just sent you.
Okay, let's open it. First Christian Church in Tupelo. These damaged pictures are going to hurt more and more every time we see them. I apologize. Apparently that advertiser's going to get a good bonus today. Okay. Oh. So what we're looking at is the inside of First Christian Church in Tupelo. As you can see, the damage is significant. Where's First Christian Church at?
It's just off McCullough.
Just off McCullough?
Yeah, the roof is gone. There's nothing else.
The thing about this, and it looks awful, and it is awful, large span roofs like this, where there's an open area, much easier to cause absolute devastation. It only has to puncture one side with debris, roof pops, all goes to smithereens. It's the reason they don't put you in a gym, is because of that fact. So still, I mean, these pictures are going to be heartbreaking. We're going to have a lot more of these coming in, and we appreciate that. One other thing I'm going to try to see if I can pull up on my Twitter here, a picture of the funnel cloud we had in New Hope just a few moments ago. If it will come in on my feed, I apologize.
We have a phoner we need to get.
Okay, let's go ahead and get to the phoner. Let's go ahead and toss to Emily over on the news desk. Emily.
Okay, Matt, thank you very much. Joining me live on the phone is the CEO of North Mississippi Medical Center, Shane Spees. Shane, are you there?
Yes, I am, Emily.
Okay, Shane, what are you guys seeing as far as injuries are concerned?
Well, the only report we have to provide at this time is that we have seen and treated 24 patients with storm-related injuries. Fortunately, 20 of those were patients with minor conditions that will likely be treated and released. There are 4 other patients out of that 24 that seem to have more serious injuries that need further evaluation. So in total, 24 thus far.
Do you know where these patients are coming to you from? Is it mainly Lee County or where?
It seems to be just from the Tupelo area at this point in time.
And do you still have people coming in at this time?
We do, and we're just hanging in there, just awaiting for additional patients if needed. Kind of given that, understand the road conditions are difficult and some aren't passable at this point in time. So we would expect we may receive others later.
And if somebody does need help, do they need to call 911? What do they need to do? Do they need to come to the hospital?
Well, I think certainly the emergency room is open to patients, but they also could utilize 911 in the case of an emergency or if they're having difficulty getting on the roadways and accessing care.
Okay. Shane, thank you very much for your update. We'll probably be giving you a call later on tonight just to keep everybody updated on the injury situation in this ever-changing weather situation that we've got going on. So, Shane, thank you very much.
Sure
Appreciate
thing,
your
Emily.
time. And then joining me now is WTVA's Susan Parker. Okay. Matt says that he needs to go back to Matt.
Well, yeah, we'll go back over there, Susan, a second ago. That rotation we were watching, Southern Lowndes County, National Weather Service Jackson pulling tornado warning on that. At least it's winds that could be up around 65 to 70 miles per hour. You can see the storm track next to me here. We're talking McCrary is 16 minutes, Ethelsville 19 minutes. This tornado at this instant, I'm going to double check. I apologize that I have to lean forward and do this. It just, touch screen computers, you got to love them. Come on, scroll down. I apologize. You need to be in your safe place, Southern Lowndes County. I want to just double check to make sure that this is radar indicated. It is radar indicated, moving east at 55 miles per hour. So our speed on the storm is not right. Let's get 55. Let's clear that off. Let's track that circulation east. Whiteberry 5 minutes, Forston 9 minutes, McCrary 11 minutes, and Ethelsville about 14 minutes. I actually want to put that circulation a little farther ahead of where it's at right now. Let's go Ethelsville 11 minutes, Derma 13 minutes. Exact location we're dealing with here on Storm Track Doppler radar, that has strengthened greatly. We're going to the gritty version. And there it is, trying to re-strengthen. What this red is here, that's the winds now getting more organized on this thunderstorm. I'm going to have to go back and forth between some stuff, and I apologize. This doesn't make for good TV, but this analysis, I want to make sure we get this right. That's 14 minutes old. Let's get the latest scan there. Okay. So I'm looking New Hope. Okay, so there it is. Right there. We have the potential. We have two areas of circulation on this thunderstorm. And there's no guarantee that either is on the ground, but at this instant, it's a situation where I'm going to make the assumption that this could be, I mean, it's obviously potentially a damaging situation. That's the kind of day we've had, and we just have to assume it's on the ground because so many of these have done that so quickly. So Lowndes County, you got to be in that safe place again in Columbus. I think if you live in the west side of town, you're going to be okay, but let's get there. Whether it's a basement, interior room, let's get there. New Hope in particular, this is over you. You might not be on the ground this instant, but it's developing as we speak. With the speed at which that developed, I got to go up here and touch on our Vernon, my Vernon storm again. Okay, so let's find our tornado up here. There are a couple areas of circulation that I notice here that concern me. I don't have the well-defined tornado at this instant that we had earlier, but I'm going to wait as long as it takes my wireless internet to get the loop on here. There we go. And then I flipped it. Okay, so Vernon right there. A new circulation back to the west. Not overly strong, but tracking toward you. 3 minutes. The sustained circulation is not quite as impressive as it was earlier. Now it's in eastern Lamar County, and as that crosses eventually out of Lamar County, that's something we're going to turn over to the stations out of Birmingham, because that will cross out of our area. But certainly, Vernon, I want to keep you in your safe place at this instant. This is potential to be a tornado on the ground. Let's go back to south of Louisville, and I've changed my radar site here. Let's go to Jackson, because this is a thunderstorm that, again, has been Doppler radar indicated rotation that could lead to the development of a tornado. By the way, they've had significant tornado touchdowns down around Jackson as well. We haven't taken any time to talk about that. It's obviously not in our viewing area, but if you have friends and family in Jackson, now would be a good time to give them a call as well, just to make sure. There we are. Our rotation's crossing now to the extreme eastern portion of our tornado warning. It's hard to see. It's not what we had earlier, but Noxapater, 5 minutes, maybe less, into your doorstep. I'm not convinced Weather Service Jackson will reissue this tornado warning, but it's something we'll have to watch. Our Susan Parker joins our Emily Leonard on the news desk with information on the tornado damage situation.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. And as Matt just said, Susan Parker joining me right now. You've been out and about this afternoon. Where were you?
Probably about 3:30. I stopped at Best Buy, which is as close as I could get in, and then started walking, and then actually got a ride closer to where I could see the most significant damage was around Lakeshire and Green Street. Right there you have a Texaco station, a Mexican place, I think Marguerite's Fine Chocolates. Across you have a Shell station. So much damage there. Some of it you can't even recognize anymore. I think just prior to that is the Comfort Suites, and then you have the Sleep Inn. Comfort Suites had windows blown out, significant damage, but I'd say Sleep Inn, the top of the floor, top of the building was just unreal. This you can see in this picture where a lot of people weren't allowed in and they started walking.
Okay. We're going to go back to Matt right now, cut away from this video and go back to Matt.
I'm sorry, we'll get it back to you in just a second. They are now confirming that tornado on the ground just east of Columbus. As you can see, just in the last few moments since we were on the air a moment ago to now, it has intensified even further. I mean, a very strong circulation. This could be a strong and damaging tornado east of Columbus, north of New Hope, pretty much right along US 82. Certainly will be within the next couple moments if it's not there. But as we were worried a moment ago, you saw that red starting to curl around. Now our circulation more intense, moving toward the east along US 82. This is going to track. And let's get the storm track on it to show the exact locations we're looking at here. We're expecting the potential for severe weather. And a reminder, if you lose our coverage, in theory we're streaming at WTVA.com on our WTVA News app, but I can't guarantee that considering the network disruptions we've had today. So let's look at where this would be. Forest community, we'd be worried about you, east of Columbus. For whatever reason, New Hope is not coming up on my screen here. So I'm going to say, nope, let's get this right. McCrary, pretty much now. Millport, soon. 17 minutes. This is a tornado we assume to be on the ground because we have had reports of this being observed. Last report we had, 6:49, confirmed tornado located near the east side of Columbus, moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. The fact that I don't see spotted on that means that there is tornado damage being detected by Doppler radar. It can do that. Unfortunately, it doesn't do it before damage occurs. So we have another damaging tornado that has occurred, and this damaging tornado is about to move into Pickens County, Alabama, which is not in our area, and then cross back into Lamar County, which is. It's a funny FCC thing. So let's go back to the wind mode on Storm Track Doppler. And this is a significant rotation and circulation as it tracks eastward. So New Hope, you have to be in your safe place. Same thing Macedonia community. You might have winds screaming into this that are in excess of 60 miles per hour, and then the winds wrapping around the backside. So regardless of tornado or what we're dealing with, you have to be in your tornado safe place if you live in Lamar and Lowndes counties right now. This is a tornado that we assume to be at this instant still on the ground. I want to look at our northern tornado again, and we're going to go back over to Susan and Emily. Northern tornado, I think we can cross Vernon out of that at this instant. What was looking like a circulation is not looking nearly as impressive, though that warning has been extended farther northward and does include Winfield, which is in Marion County, which we cover. But that is this circulation, so we still have a little time. Let's put a storm track on, and we're going to go over to Emily and Susan.
Okay, Matt.
Give me just a second. I'm going to put a storm track, and then we'll do that. So I can get folks in Winfield the time we expect that into there, because it'll be a couple minutes till we make it back. At this point, I have Winfield and 17 minutes, Brilliant in 24 minutes, Bluff next 5 minutes, and then Pierce's Mills in about 28 minutes. Okay, we're sending it back over to Emily and Susan. I apologize for that interruption. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Matt, you cut in whenever you need to. Back with Susan again. Susan was walking along Gloucester Street.
Heading south, and that's when I really started seeing some damage around Lakeshire. That would be also where Green Street is. You have a Shell station there. Some of the pictures you may be seeing now are just trees that are snapped. You can see where definitely a tornado came through there, took power lines down where that damaged several of the businesses along the way. It was really quite shocking to see this at first until I started traveling further south when I was seeing, you know, some of the restaurants and the hotels like the Comfort Suites, the Sleep Inn really, the top floor of that, it just looked to me to be gone. I saw people rolling their suitcases, just walking with their suitcases, looking confused, weren't really sure where they were going to go.
Right.
You just saw a lot of emergency responders coming through there, just I'm talking power line after power line. That's actually the bingo place.
Oh, with the water spewing out the
Yeah,
side there.
Heavy damage there. And then there's a bunch of, like a car lot there. All the cars look damaged. I mean, seriously damaged. I saw one vehicle, which I deliberately did not show. It was literally just chewed up.
Oh, my.
It looked like it had spun. There was an 18-wheeler on its side in front of one of the hotels. That is the Sleep Inn, and it's incredible, the damage, because that's one of our newer hotels. That's the Texaco. You can see there's a Mexican family that was out there actually just cleaning up, doing the best they could with what they had.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest concern law enforcement have right now is potential for looting,
Okay.
and that's why they're having the curfew, right?
Right. Then the curfew again, 9 p.m. tonight.
And then
On that
now, of course, here's some more video. They're really just trying to control the scene to keep people, other than the folks that have a vested interest in this area, they're trying to keep people out. They're saying no matter how tempting it is, do not come down. There's going to be heavily policed tonight because there's really no chance. They're not going to allow anything to happen. And you can see this is the view looking also south. I believe that is Lakeshire. With North Green, you can see what used to be the Shell station. I was one of the last customers today, thank goodness. I was gone already. But you can see it's just boards splintered into pieces, and it's just a scene of devastation all over the place over there.
Absolutely. A lot of people talk about the smell. Could you smell it in the air?
Well, when I first was walking down there, I smelled natural gas. And
Okay.
that's one of the things that law enforcement didn't want people close to it because they had multiple line breaks, whether it was natural or propane, that sort of thing. So it was just a lot of concern about safety to begin with. And then once they were able to get past some of the initial procedures they have to do to make it safe, then they letting some people just try to clean up and do the thing. And luckily, it's hard to believe no one was seriously injured, right?
Right now, we're getting minor reports in of 4 people right now. We're told by the hospital that they've got more serious injuries, but total 24 patients, 20 with minor injuries, 4 with a little bit more serious. That's as of about 10 to 15 minutes ago. So hopefully we won't hear of any more, but with all of this devastation and damage that you're showing us, it's very likely that we could hear from more people being injured. And looks like you talked to the mayor.
I did talk
as
to
well.
the mayor. It's good that this even came up because he said that the governor is coming in the morning, I believe.
Okay.
With the public service commissioner. They're going to tour the damage, and more than likely I would expect a news conference following that.
Okay. And Sonia Walls was in here earlier. Seems like most of the damage is in that Gloucester area. She was in that area earlier. She spoke with the Vanelli's owner, and she said that it's just destroyed.
Well, I looked. What's one of my favorite places? I was a little concerned about it, so I took a very close look at it. What I could see was some holes, what looked to me in the top right-hand corner of the building. I couldn't see the back, but I know that behind there, the hotel back there, that's where I believe I saw an 18-wheeler flipped completely as though it was just a toy onto its side. So I am hoping that, well, you can see there, that's the Outback. It has some, looks to me like
Some
almost
roof damage?
Roof damage. I'm not sure how much penetration there was.
Okay.
But it looks much better than some of the other things over there. So, hopefully that'll be some. There's Vanelli's right there. See, you can see where it went. The top right, maybe the roof. I don't really know exactly what was behind the left side.
Okay.
But that's pretty much most of the video that I think I have. So.
Okay. Well, Susan, we appreciate your report. We'll check back with you later. For now, let's go back over to Matt.
Okay, so we continue to have a strong and possibly likely damaging tornado that is moving through, moving toward our Alabama counties. It's moving out of Lowndes County pretty much as we speak. One thing I wanted to talk about before we touch on that, all locations north and west in Tupelo, you're in good shape. So if you think the trace north back, you're in good shape. Tornado watch has been canceled for Benton, Lafayette, Yalobusha counties, but more cancellations will come up soon in regard to that. We are coming up on 7 p.m. A tornado warning continues for Lowndes County. And also we have a new tornado warning that's been issued for Lamar County. It's for the same thunderstorm, the same rotation, the same strong circulation near the New Hope community that's moving in an easterly direction. That circulation has had a history of producing tornado damage, and we have to assume, given what all's happened today, that it could be still on the ground. That is, Do you see how The precipitation is just